Romans 12:3. For I say through the grace given upon me to every man that is among you, listen close, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly according as God hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. Now, what I really want to about today is the notion that you shouldn't think more highly of yourself than you ought to, but to judge yourself soberly, which means to judge yourself from a clear minded, fact based perspective. Earlier today, I'm on the train and I'm talking to somebody, his name's Mike, and he happens to be another speaker and a pastor. And throughout our conversation, he just happened to mention how throughout life and through the world and history, people have twisted the Bible in so many ways to oppress others. I'll put it that way. And one thing that he brought up was this notion that you have to be low, humble. Keep in mind, he's a pastor. This is coming from him. But what he's actually saying is that no, the Bible isn't teaching you to be lowly and weak and I'm just this. No, it's teaching you don't think you're more than you are, but to think you are what you are. For example, if LeBron James said, I am an incredible basketball player, nobody would think that's crazy because he is what he is. Now, if he were to say, I'm the smartest, richest, tallest, most handsome man in the world, okay, that's your opinion, but it's not a fact. It's not a fact. And for so long in my life, part of me, I've been afraid to show how great I really am because I didn't want people to judge me. You know, when I was growing up, when I would show people how smart I really am, they would insult me. I would get bullied for that. So over time, I developed this part of myself that was afraid to be as I am. An example of this is this year, I've been on 70 podcasts. I did a speech that was so incredibly good that the two girls who happened to be there, they went out and started an entire charity because of how good my speech was. I have helped so many people. I've done a lot of great things. I've been on the news multiple times. I've gotten awards. I'm really good at what I do. And that's not me bragging. It's not me thinking higher than I ought to. It's me thinking I am what I am because I am. It's the facts. And you need to understand that other people, they'll brag, they'll boast, they'll say all the stuff they need to say. But why aren't you showing up to your fullest potential? Because you think, oh, I don't want to be bragging, I don't want to be boasting, I don't want to be this, and I don't want to be that, I don't want them to judge me or think that I'm so full of myself. You should be full of yourself because the alternative is empty of yourself. Why would you want to be empty of yourself? I'm not saying you need to walk around like that, but if you're him, be him. If you're her, be her. You should think of yourself not higher than you ought to, but you should think, I am what I am. If you are the richest man in the world and you say, I'm the richest man in the world, it's not bragging, it's just a fact. If you're LeBron James and you say, I am an incredible basketball player, it's not bragging, it's just a fact. And when I say that my name is Lawrence, I'm a youth empowerment speaker, and I help teen young adults improve self love, confidence, and their outlook on life. I've been on 70 podcasts this year. I've spoken at multiple organizations. I've spoken to thousands of people throughout the city of Philadelphia and the country. I've traveled, I've done this, I've done that. It ain't bragging, it's just the facts. And like that verse says, you should not think higher of yourself than you ought to, but you should think of yourself from a sober minded perspective. And that sober minded perspective is I am what I am. I'm not more than I think I am. I'm not more than what I am. I just am what I am. And going even further into this, there's another verse, I don't remember exactly where it is, But it is that I think it's Philippians 2, probably, that all things are possible through Christ. And the same Christ that had the same spirit, was able to walk the earth and raise the dead, that same spirit exists within you. So get your notebooks out, because this is going to be a good one. Like I mentioned earlier, the problem is a lot of times we allow the people, like the opinions of people who think that they're small, to hold us back. No, you shouldn't do that. You should be who you are. And it's really easy for us to allow that doubt and that insecurity and that fear and what are these other people going to think about me? It's really easy for us to allow that to creep in. But as you go throughout your life, you have to understand and realize this: you're the only person going in your casket. You're the only person going in your casket. And when you're on your deathbed and you're looking back and you're like, dang, I could have went for that goal. I could have went for that job. I could have went for that career. I could have really done so much. But I was afraid to go out there and let people know who I am. Not show them and brag and boast. No. Show them who I am, because I am what I am. I am a multi award winning public speaker at 19 years old. I am a multi published author. I am someone who has impacted thousands of people across the world. I am somebody who I get messages and DMs from people saying, like, yo, Lawrence, this video changed my life. I'm talking to my family more. People's parents be emailing me saying, my son, he acting right now. He calmed down. I had people who they were on the path to going to prison, like they had charges and things, but they got their life together because I spoke at an event they were at. And now they on the right path. People are creating organizations because of my speeches. It's a fact. I've been on over 70 podcasts. It's a fact. I've helped thousands of people. It's a fact. I coach people. It's a fact. I'm an author. It's a fact. And this video is really me bringing awareness to the fact that it's okay to let it be known. Like, it's okay to let people know that maybe you're an artist, right? You make paintings and you make some of the best paintings ever. The problem is people, we think that I'm not that good when really you're all that. You really are all that, but we start thinking, "Oh, I'm not as good as Leonardo da Vinci. I'm not as good as Michael Jordan. I don't sing as good as Beyonce. I don't rap as good as Jay-Z. I don't dance as good as this person. I don't cook as good as Gordon Ramsay." But here's the thing, everybody had their own recipe. We all got the same formula, but you need to use your recipe. And you can't do that if you're afraid to show people. You can't become the first you if you're not afraid to put that song out. If you're not afraid to post that video, if you're not afraid to start dancing on TikTok, if you're not afraid to make that YouTube channel, if you're afraid to start cooking and selling platters and get you a food truck, or get you a barber shop or get your license, become a welder, start doing that, and you scale it up and boom, now you got a whole business off that. You can't achieve greatness if you thinking like this, but the whole time you should be thinking like this. I'm him. And that's the mentality you gotta have to have, because the world is going to try to beat that out of you. It's gonna say, "Oh, you've only been on 70 podcasts, but Tony Robbins, he been on 5,000." But the person saying that been on zero. We will allow people to stop us and block our blessing who themselves have not even tried. You haven't even tried. I'm in the field, you're in the bleacher. You can start talking when you get in the field with me. When you get in the field and you see, oh, it's different. From the bleachers, you think that they on the field just running and throwing a football. But no, on the field, you got 300-pound people running at you and they tackling you and they running you down like a dog, and you sweating and you got 100 pounds of gear on and you just rolled your ankle and you gotta get back up. And you see how now when you get on the field, it's different than when you're on the bleachers? We allow the opinions of people who are in the bleachers to stop us when the whole time we're the ones in the field. We allow people who don't have the courage to dare to stop us when we're already doing something about it. And it's not to say that, you need to brag and boast and be cocky. No, it's to say if you got the goods, let people know. Because your competition, they gonna let people know. Other speakers, oh, they have no problem showing their trophies. They have no problem telling you that I made this amount of money. They have no problem doing it. So what do I look like holding myself back because I'm afraid of seeming cocky? I'm afraid of seeming arrogant. There's this part of me that was created when I was a whole child because people used to bully me because of how smart I was, and without me even knowing it, I was carrying that part of me into my life now. But because I'm aware of it, I can solve that problem by saying that belief, yeah, it served me back then, but it don't serve me no more. What can I do? Great question. If you just ask that great question, because now I'm about to give you something deliverable. I'm going to give you something you can go take action on. Get you a journal. I say this all the time. And when you have these thoughts of, I'm afraid people are going to judge me because X, Y, and Z. I'm afraid to put my song out on SoundCloud because people are going to make fun of me. I'm afraid of putting my painting on Instagram. I'm afraid of starting that business. I'm afraid of asking that girl or guy out. I'm afraid of this. Okay. I am afraid of this. You write that down. Why? And you just take a little moment and you ask yourself, why? Why am I afraid of this? Oh, I'm afraid that they're gonna judge me because when I was a kid, people used to make fun of me. Okay, but are you still a kid? No, I'm not. So, what can I do to change this? I could start even though I don't feel ready. I could put it out there even though I'm afraid people might judge me. I can post that song, I could post that video, I could start even when I'm afraid because fear only exists when you're not doing it. Fear only grows the more you try to avoid it. But when you look fear in the eyes and you say, I'm doing this even though I'm not ready. I'm doing this even though I don't have all the equipment. I'm doing this even though people might judge me. I'm doing this even though people might make fun of me or they might not understand or my family or this or that or my girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing this even though I don't feel ready. And I'm going to get ready by becoming ready, by doing it. And in the process, you'll start to realize, like, dang, it was hard, but I made it so much harder in my head than it had to be in reality. And as you go throughout life, you're gonna realize that people, when they see somebody moving, oh, they love it. Because when I go on these organizations and whatnot, I notice myself like I watch back my footage because I record my meetings and I watch them to myself to see like what did I do? How was I talking? Did I get nervous? What did I do so I can be more professional? And something I would notice is that a lot of times I would, kind of downplay myself. Like I wouldn't really say I'm really him because I didn't want them to think I was just bragging and being egotistical. And when they would ask me stuff like, oh, what impact have you had at other organizations? What kind of transformations, what kind of testimonials? I would show them the good testimonials, but I really wouldn't show them the like, he changed my life. I started an organization because of this man. My son, he is talking to me more because of this man right here. My daughter, we talking more. We got a good relationship. I wouldn't really show them no testimonials. I would show them the good, but I wouldn't show them that. And I was thinking to myself, why is this? Like I got the 5 stars up here, but I'm showing them 4 stars? Lawrence, what kind of sense does that make? It's because when I was a kid, I would get bullied because people would make fun of me because of how smart I am. So without me even knowing it, I was carrying the beliefs that were beneficial when I was like 7 into my life now. So the solution is by journaling, you become aware of these thoughts, you become aware of these beliefs, you become aware of the unconscious, you bring it to reality, and now it's in like your front of your mind, and you can think about this, and you can solve it. So the simple message is you should not think higher of yourself than you ought to, but you should think you are what you are. I am what I am. I am somebody who helps people completely transform their life. There are people who have avoided prison because of me. There are people who have gotten out of toxic relationships because of me. There are 70 podcasts of me that you can go watch. There are organizations where every time somebody comes and says, like, we need a speaker, I'm the first one on their list. There are people whose entire life has changed because of me. And it ain't me thinking higher of myself than I ought to. It ain't me bragging. It's me saying, I am what I am. I'm him. Like I'm him. I'm him. I am him. I'm that guy. So with that said, I want you to go out there and you have that opinion of yourself. I want you to say, yeah, right now, my Instagram videos, my TikTok, my art page, my business, I'm not a millionaire yet. I haven't done that. But sold 5 paintings. Whole time I'm doing this, I sold 5 paintings. I'm so much farther ahead than I used to be. And done so much. Like, wow, I made 5 YouTube videos. Oh my gosh. I remember when I was scared to even make a TikTok. I made 5 YouTube videos. Maybe that's where you're at. Oh, I made 100 YouTube videos. I made 500 YouTube videos. Oh my gosh, I made so much progress. And you're not thinking that you're all that and you're so full of yourself. No, you are what you are. If you're somebody who has achieved something in life, like you got your first job, you got your first car, you moved out your parents' house, you started a business, you are writing a book, you got an A plus on your test. Believe yourself, like believe in yourself because so many people will try to discourage you. So many people who don't even believe in themselves will try to make you not believe in yourself. That makes no sense. We allow the people who hate on us to stop us from believing in ourselves, to stop us from loving ourselves because we're so afraid of the opinions of random people. Nah, because when your time comes and you're in that casket and you're in your deathbed, you gotta die with you. You have to go to the grave knowing I did what I did. For better or worse, I did what I did. If I was a good man, I was a good man. I did what I did. If I committed crimes, I did what I did. The truth is the truth. And you have to recognize the truth of you. You have to recognize that just because somebody else says, oh, you need to be humble, you need to stop bragging. I ain't bragging, I'm telling the truth. The truth is, I'm all that. I'm not saying I'm all that, but I'm all that, if you get what I mean. And the truth is that you don't have to go around telling people you're all that, but you're all that. You are how good you are. If maybe you want to be a chef, right? Yeah, I don't know how to do the Gordon Ramsay onion tricks and slice them up this way and do the pan flips and all that, but I can make a real good fried chicken. I don't got that Popeyes yet, but I can make a real good fried chicken. I am what I am. You put me in the kitchen, I'm gonna cook. Oh, I'm not Jay-Z, I'm not J. Cole, I'm not that level yet. But give me a microphone, put it on SoundCloud, I'll say something and it'll rhyme. I am as good as I am. And with that said, hope you guys love this. If you have any podcast host school principal or run a youth organization, you can contact me at lawrence@lawrenceharris.com. And if you'd like to purchase my books or get one-on-one coaching, you can also find those links in the description. Have a wonderful, fantastic day. Believe in yourself and remember, I love you, but God loves you more. Have a good one.